Jungkook can't hold back anymore. The night he confessed to loving someone, it wasn't an ordinary night. There were only small stars in the dark sky, as if they were witnesses of something that had been hidden behind the spotlight of stage lights and world cameras. Jungkook, the BTS magnate who has been known for his strength, assertiveness, and expression that is often kept neat in his thin smile, has finally shown a side that is rarely seen, a side that is fragile, honest, and very human. According to several witnesses who were at the scene, this incident occurred after a night training session at the military headquarters where Jungkook and several BTS members were undergoing military service. Only a few close associates were there. No camera exposure. No army is screaming. No music. Only silence and one voice. Jungkook himself. He was standing in the outer corner of the building where they were resting, in his usual dark hoodie. In front of him, a few of his fellow military members sat, relaxed, talking about light things. But when someone jokingly asks, if you could love anyone right now, who would you tell? Jungkook was silent, not laughing, not brushed aside, not changing the subject as usual. A few seconds later, his voice came out. Slow down. But it was clear enough to make all who heard immediately hold their breath. I already love someone, but I've never really dared to tell anyone that. Someone asked, cautiously, does that person know? Jungkook shook his head. He might feel it, but I was too scared. Afraid of losing what I already have. Afraid that after I speak, everything will change. Everyone there knows, this is not just an ordinary confession. It is a burden of many years that is finally released. Jungkook, an idol who has been surrounded by the love of millions since he was a teenager, harbors feelings that he has never expressed, even to himself as a whole, although names were never mentioned that night. Rumors immediately spread among fans and the ARMY community. Many have speculated that the confession may be related to Jimin, close friends, group mates, and people who have been part of emotional moments in Jungkook's life several times, small gestures over the years, ranging from song lyrics, highlights when they were on stage, to behind-the-scenes moments that were captured on camera, are now reassembled by fans. Even some old clips from BTS's variety shows are now being played back, searching for their meaning as if they were part of a hidden feeling puzzle. When interviewed a few weeks later, Bang Si-hyuk, the founder of HYB and a father figure in BTS career, said calmly, love comes in many forms. Friendship, loyalty, loss, even a sense of belonging. Jungkook and Jimin, like all BTS members, have a story that only they can fully understand. But as long as they're honest with themselves, I think that's the most important thing. A few days after the confession, the atmosphere between Jungkook and Jimin looked a little different. They seemed to sit longer apart, talk more calmly, not in a hurry as usual. And even though no one knew the content of their conversation, the expression on Jungkook's face that night, calm, peaceful, and a tiny little smile that wasn't made up, makes many people believe that the weight on his chest has been slightly lifted, and no one knows where their relationship will go. But one thing is certain, that night, Jungkook was no longer silent. He chose to talk, even if only with a few people around him. And sometimes, the first step to loving properly is to courageously admit it, even if you can't necessarily have it. Unbeknownst to Jungkook, news of the night of the confession spread faster than he expected. Although only a few people heard it in person, in a closed military environment, such an emotional conversation was not easy to keep. Even in a whisper, the feeling of love can echo louder than imagined. Jimin heard it not from Jungkook, not even from the closest people. He heard it by accident, from the chatter of two soldiers cleaning equipment, in a voice quiet enough, but clear enough to keep him silent in the cold, narrow hallway. He said Jungkook said he loved someone, but never admitted it. Yes, and he said it was the one who was nearby, but he was afraid that everything would change. I wonder who he meant. But I think you know too. Jimin stood behind the wall that time, unable to move. Their voices didn't say his name, but there was something in the way they spoke that penetrated his chest deeper than he thought. because deep down he knows. Somehow he felt it about himself. That night, Jimin returned to his barracks faster than usual. He closed the door gently, sat down on his bed, and stared at the dark night from the narrow window. Not crying, not talking, but his heart was in great turmoil. For him, Jungkook is more than a colleague, more than a best friend, more than just a part of BTS' long journey. There are many moments they have shared laughter, hugs, debates, even meaningful silence. But that night, he felt strange. As if there was a part of Jungkook that he thought he knew, it was hidden. If it's about me, why didn't he speak directly to me? If not, why did I get sick when I heard that? It was a thought that kept spinning in Jimin's head. A few nights later, when training was over sooner, Jungkook approached Jimin, who was sitting on the sidelines, alone. With his hands in his pockets and a quiet voice, Jungkook said, "Hyung, can we talk for a minute?" Jimin did not answer. But he didn't go either. It was enough for Jungkook to sit beside her. Silence enveloped them for several minutes. Only the sound of crickets and gusts of wind is heard. Then finally, Jungkook spoke. "There's something I have to say, but I'm afraid you heard from someone else first." Jimin turned his head slowly and looked at Jungkook with eyes that began to glaze over. "I've heard." Jungkook immediately lowered his head. "I'm sorry. I should have told you directly, but I'm scared. I don't want you to change. I don't want to lose you. Why did you tell anyone before me?" Jimin asked slowly, yet clearly. Jungkook was silent for a long time before he finally said, "That night, I was silent for too long. I think I can keep everything to myself. But as it turned out, I wasn't strong anymore. I love you, Hyung. I don't know what to do with this feeling. I just know I'm tired of pretending." Jimin did not answer immediately. He looked at Jungkook's face, who could no longer hide his emotions. Wet eyes, heavy breathing, chest tightness due to feelings that have been held back. Then, Jimin pulls Jungkook in an embrace, without a word, without certainty, but full of acceptance. The hug does not promise a future, does not give a definite answer, but give one thing most important, that he did not refuse, that he understands, and that he, too, probably felt the same. After that night of frankness, something changes not just between Jungkook and Jimin, but also the way their world moves. Although nothing was officially said further and no promises or plans were uttered, the moment on the empty field left an indelible mark. Some might think things would be awkward after such a confession. But no, precisely. What appears as a kind of relief. Jungkook looks calmer in his daily life. He no longer held back his gaze every time he saw Jimin. He can smile sincerely, although his heart is still full of questions. Jimin, on the other hand, became more silent. Not because he is confused, but because he is trying to understand what he really feels. He knows that the love that is born between two hearts that grow together is not something that can be determined overnight. He needs time. But one thing is certain, he did not reject Jungkook. And Jungkook knows that, outside the walls of the military barracks, the world is still walking in its bustle. The army are busy talking about each member's solo comeback, rumors of a new movie, and of course, their draft development. But somehow, there were some fans who began to suspect. Some claimed to see the warm interaction between Jimin and Jungkook in the corners untouched by the camera. One short video which captured Jungkook staring at Jimin silently during training went viral and left the army wondering, why is his gaze so deep? There is something different between them. BTS is close, but this is more than just a brother. But the agency remained silent. There is no clarification. There is no objection. Only silence seemed to strengthen the curiosity of the public. Although their hearts began to merge in understanding, the shadow of the future was still vague. The world they live in is a world of demands, expectations, and sometimes judgment. Jungkook once said, "I don't need everyone to understand. I just need you to understand, Hyung." And Jimin, though he didn't reply with words, touched Jungkook's hand one morning while everyone was still asleep. A gentle hint that he exists, that he heard, that he might as well love.